Happy to have all our fans out there doing a little Instagram live here. Excited about a little game down here in Mesa today, but most excited about getting back to the Coliseum and playing baseball in front of fans next Thursday against the Astros. We have a division title to defend. It starts on Thursday, and we're going to have 11,000 fans out there. It's going to be a great showing. Obviously, we wish we could have more than 11,000 fans, but that's going to come later. We're focused now on operating safely in conjunction with the county and with the state and ensuring that we have a great experience. And we're capped at that 11,000 number. So we're excited about Thursday and how that's going to play out. And really a great homestand. Obviously, we have the Astros, and then we have the World Series champion Dodgers. And, as anyone who saw the game yesterday, now it was only a spring training game, we certainly took care of business against Kershaw and their team. So, we don't want to read too much into that because it's a spring training game and you just never know. But it's always nice to beat the defending world champions and maybe avenge some of the 1988 bad karma from that series. So we're excited about the upcoming season. I know fans have had a lot of interesting questions and, frequently asked questions about this upcoming season and really the social distancing and the Coliseum. It's going to be a little different than normal, but we're going to do it in a safe way. We're going to work really closely with the county. Some of the things we normally have, like our social areas, like Shive Park Tavern, Stomping Ground, are not going to be open, unfortunately, to start. But in time, we're going to get that stuff open too, we're hopeful. And we're going to have more of a regular experience. But we're going to start with the pods, 4 and 2 people. People in the stadium. We know opening day is practically completely sold out, and we're in a position where we're going to actually have a lot of energy in the building. That's one thing that I've noticed in talking to the players, talking to Bob Melvin. People really miss the energy that the players brought last year, or that the fans brought last year. The players really didn't have it. I thought you could really see that at Dodger Stadium when we had the playoff game. It was strange playing in another stadium that it was supposedly a home series, but it was at Dodger Stadium. How strange was that? And we were playing the Astros. And so hopefully all that's behind us. We can focus on hosting playoff games at the Coliseum with our fans. So we're obviously very excited about the upcoming season. I know fans have had a lot of great questions about everything. Obviously we had the Flextix program, which has been a big success. I know some people had some challenges getting their tickets. I really want to stress that we're doing everything we can to enhance the number of tickets available. Right now, every pod has to be 6 feet apart. And if that could get relaxed to 3 feet, we could add a lot more seats down in the lower bowl. A traditional section of 500 people only has about 70 seats available to sell. And so we have a lot of areas where people normally have their season tickets, that they're basically zip tied shut, unfortunately. So we're hopeful that will actually be something that relaxes and that we can get to a point, hopefully by 4th of July, as Dr. Fauci said, and have a little more normalcy. So I think we have some questions here from fans. So what's the first question? Oh, my walk-up song. Okay, so walk-up song, I would have to say as a Gen Xer, and we have a very small generation, it would have to be something in kind of the grunge band, kind of Nirvana, Soundgarden, kind of Pearl Jam. Any of those would work great for me. So maybe Alive by Pearl Jam. That's what I'd go with. Number and why? Probably 28, because that's just my lucky number. I was born on the 28th of October. And, it's always served me well when I've been in Las Vegas, at the roulette table. The question is about whether or not I'm excited to have fans back. Thrilled. Like I said earlier, it's all about high energy, the excitement that our fans bring. And our fans, they make a home field advantage for us. And we didn't have that last year. We had cutouts, they were kind of cute. They were kind of a cool thing. We got to have some media around that, but it wasn't the same thing. And we're happy that the era of the cutout is over. And now we have the era of the actual fan. Our bleachers fans, I know, are going to be coming with full force, especially with the Astros coming in for the opening series. And it should be really exciting to see that. The question is, what's my favorite part about fans? I like talking to fans one-on-one or with a set of fans and learning about why they're a fan of a specific team or a player. Sometimes there's just some great stories about how people become baseball fans, especially at a young age. And that's something that I really appreciate learning about. I know for me, growing up in Cleveland, I used to go to the old, municipal stadium. We had 200 fans at the game. It was like no one. And, you could grow up watching guys like Andre Thornton and Corey Snyder and people who maybe weren't the greatest players in the world and Hall of Famers, but for me as a kid who was 8 years old, made a difference. And so those type of stories, hearing about people's passion around, Mark McGuire or Vida Blue, that's really cool. Or Mark Mulder, or whoever it ends up being a player that they had a special connection to, is really fun. Latest on the new ballpark. Well, there's been a lot of developments this year. We have been busy. We won 2 lawsuits against Schnitzer Steel, which is great. The one they sued us, we won. And when we sued them, we won, which is a great win for air quality and the health of West Oakland and everyone who comes to Oakland, which is a great thing. We got the draft environmental impact report released, all 6,000 pages of it. So it's quite a read if you guys are interested in that. But it's a critical step in moving the process forward and getting a vote of the city council later this year. Remember, the port's already voted unanimously for the project. The county has approved it. The state has passed 3 pieces of state legislation. It's really come down to the city council. And we're very hopeful that with the council we have now, that we can get a vote and we can get an affirmative vote so we can have a better idea when we can open the new building. Next steps on the new ballpark, it's all about that city council vote. And, we're going to need our fans to turn out, maybe even in person by then. It would probably be in the summer. Certification of the environmental impact report and the agreement between the city and the A's. It's a huge amount of work that's gone into this for almost 4 years. And it's really a critical step for us. We need to know, our current lease only goes through 2024 at the Coliseum. So we're running short on time. We need to get the right answers. We're hopeful that we're in a position to get an affirmative vote. We're doing everything we can to get there and to realize the potential of that incredible waterfront stadium at Howard Terminal. The question is, how many fans at the new ballpark? 34,000 is going to be the capacity. Physical seats might be slightly less than that because we have some standing room, but we're going to have a lot of social spaces like the Treehouse, like Championship Plaza that we have now. I think that's going to be a really cool way to have something different. Of course, the Rooftop Park is just absolutely incredible. That is something that has never been seen in a ballpark before. It really accents the location at the waterfront. You have the views of the estuary, which is incredible. The Oakland skyline, San Francisco skyline. You see the boats going by. I mean, it is just an incredible backdrop. And then, of course, you have those huge cranes out there, 4 of them, which people can see, especially with the new orientation of the dip. You have a great view of the estuary and the open water. So we love the locale and the section right at the waterfront there. 18 acres of public open space come with the ballpark, and really an enhancement of Jack London Square, both in terms of like it being an entertainment destination and also the infrastructure necessary to make it work. Tickets for 2021. Remember, we don't have season tickets in 2021. We're selling individual tickets with the Flextix as a way to kind of get earlier in line. If you're a Flextix holder, you get that lower price guaranteed, especially if you pay with the volume, and you get to buy your tickets earlier, especially as additional tickets get released. You will always have an earlier priority. And so it's a little different than we've done in the past. I know that's been challenging for some fans. I think there were times we could have done a better job of communicating what was happening. But we are really committed to ensuring that our fans, our most loyal fans and best fans who've been with us for a very long time through lots of ups and downs, have the opportunity to come out to the ballpark and get great seats.
How many fans will be able to attend?
The question is how many fans will be able to attend. It's going to start at 11,000. And that's the 20% threshold. And remember, there's a couple things that I want to remind people. First of all, we have a mass vaccination site in the north parking lot. You cannot park on the north side. No getting off on 66. It will not work. You will end up in a infinite loop, basically. So you want to go down to Hegenberger, get off in Hegenberger, park in the southern lots. We have plenty of parking in those lots, but I just really want to encourage people to come to the southern lots. That's where we're going to need to park. We've had great success with the mass vaccination site. It's the first federal site in the United States. Extra doses for our county. Hundreds of thousands of people have been vaccinated there, both teachers and first responders and members of the local community, which has been really, really important to getting this pandemic behind us. So just remember, South lot, that's where things are going to be. Also, the parking lot's only open 90 minutes before first pitch instead of 2 hours, and the gates only open 1 hour. And those are all requirements we have from the state that we have to make sure to keep everyone in a safe fashion. Also, food and beverage. It's going to be very different. You cannot go up and like basically, go to a concession stand and buy the food. Everything is done mobilely through the At the Ballpark app. So you got to download that app ahead of time, get a little used to how it works, get your account in there, get your credit card information. That's going to make it a lot more seamless. I also want to encourage people, if they're uncomfortable with that, you can bring food. Yes, I said that. You can bring your own food and drink into the ballpark. You can't bring beer or alcohol. That's not allowed. But you can bring your own food. So we want to be really accommodating people because this is going to be a different experience, and we just want to make sure people have fun at the ballpark. So those are going to be some of the things that people are going to see a little different. And we ask for everyone's patience and understanding because it is new, and we're hopeful that things will continue to get relaxed and we can have more of a standard experience later this year.
Would fans be at full attendance at any point this year?
The question is if we're going to get to full attendance. I can't answer affirmatively yes. I'm very hopeful we will. Obviously the vaccinations are going well. We're in touch weekly with Dr. Galley at the state of California and with Colleen at the local health authority in Alameda County. We're working together to have a safe reopening to ensure that there's no spread of COVID in our community. And so we're taking our cues from the state, from the county, to ensure that it's done appropriately. And I think as we continue to get the vaccines out there and additional guidance comes from the CDC, we're hopeful that by midway through the year, we'll be able to have more relaxed standards. And then eventually some kind of green tier. And, we love green. We're the only green team in baseball. So we get to a green tier and we can have things, more or less the way they were, and, have big fireworks nights and celebrate our victories and really celebrate the end of the pandemics. And so that's something that's really important for us.
Can they walk around the Coliseum during games?
The question is can you walk around the Coliseum during the game? We strongly encourage everyone to stay in their pod. I know that's kind of odd because normally people kind of have a promenade around the stadium, but all the social spaces are closed due to COVID. So, really, if you've always wanted to keep score, this is a great opportunity to do that. Focus on what's going on in the field. Luckily, we have a very good team, and we're just hopeful people can kind of stay in their pod. Obviously, if you need to get up to go to the bathroom, that's fine, or get up to pick up your food that you ordered through the app. Those are things that work totally fine. But, I think in general, the hope is that people, kind of stay in their pod, stay in their location for the game.
Can you take BART to the game?
The question is, can you take BART to the game? Yes, we work together with BART to get additional train capacity to come to the game and to ensure that they have trains both directions to all the different locations after the game. And so we will communicate that to people, but that is a possibility. People should feel very safe about doing that. The BART bridge will be open. That will be a way to actually attend games if folks don't want to go and actually come to the game at Park.
Where are the games being televised?
The question is around the games being televised. All our games are on television this year. They're all on NBC California, except for a handful of games that are nationally televised. So it's the traditional NBC California that has our games. We're excited to have our partnership with them. I think it's going to be another great season of A's baseball, and they do a great job of telling the story of our players and the excitement around the team.
Are we still going to have gondolas?
The question is about gondolas. Yes, we have gondolas in the environmental impact report. It's one of the main variants. I think there's like 500 pages on gondolas. So we've been studying that. That could be a critical way to actually reach the new stadium from the downtown area. And it's something that's not just good for the ballpark, it's good for, the community in Oakland and connecting the waterfront to downtown. And so we're excited about all the work that's gone into studying that and ensuring that that could be an option for us when we build the new ballpark.
Would you paint the cranes?
The question is, are we going to paint the cranes? Actually, I think since I just did the Landmarks Preservation Board meeting on Monday, which was a really thrilling 2-hour meeting. And in that meeting, they were really focused on keeping them white. So I think they're probably going to stay white because it's kind of an homage to the maritime, industry and history of the Oakland waterfront. So I think we're going to have a lot of historic information about, what was done there at Howard Terminal. It was used primarily to ship things to and from Hawaii. So that's a place where sugarcane and pineapples were unloaded for many years. And so there's a lot of really rich history. A lot of people, work there. There are a lot of jobs. But for the last 10 years, it's really been vacant because it's not really economical to ship those things in those smaller ships. So they go to the larger outer port. So it's kind of a past its time as a maritime terminal. So yes, they're gonna stay. They're gonna be part of the backdrop. And obviously when our games are on TV, on ESPN or whatever, and you see those cranes there, you're going to be in Oakland. I mean, that's a really cool part of the experience and the stadium.
They want to know your favorite part about being A's president.
The question is my favorite part of being A's president. I think my favorite part is just, being a steward of the team that has so much rich history. We've been successful in so many different eras. We have so many Hall of Famers and great players, being able to interact with Ricky Henderson, Raleigh Fingers, and Dave Stewart, and to really build on that history with the team that we have now, with folks like Matt Olson and Matt Chapman and Sean Manaea. It's really a special time. And we're on a great run here. We've made the playoffs 3 years in a row. We haven't gotten as far as we intend to, and we're hopeful that this year we can actually push all the way to the World Series and bring another championship to Oakland.
What do you do in your free time?
The question is what I do in my free time. I like to actually do barbecuing or smoked meat. So brisket, pulled pork, all that kind of stuff. Throw it in the smoker, the Weber 22-inch overnight. So, I'm a big barbecue, smoking meats kind of thing. And then I like to golf with one of my daughters who's on the golf team. So we do get that going on, which is nice here, especially in Arizona where I've been. So yeah, those are kind of some of my, key hobbies. That and just watch sports. I love any sports. It could be Formula One, it could be cycling, it could be basketball, college football, all the big sports. And I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan, as a lot of people know. And, they actually have a really good team these days. So.
Do you play Fortnite?
Do I play Fortnite? I do not play Fortnite. No. I don't play many video games other than like FIFA. That's like the only game I really play. And when I ran the Earthquakes, we used to play that all the time against the players, and that was pretty fun. And I played a couple MLB The Show, but I've been more into the FIFA actually, and the international soccer and stuff. It's been pretty cool.
Can they shop during the game?
Yes, you can. One question is, can you shop during the game? And yes, you can. So you're going to be able to go to the team stores, and they're going to be open at, I think, 50% capacity if we get to the orange tier. So you'll be able to go there and shop, buy a hat, buy a t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you would like. And so that's going to be open as part of the experience.
Will there be lawn seating at the new ballpark?
The question is there going to be lawn seating at the new ballpark? Well, we have great lawn seating here at Mesa, which has been super popular. And actually, it won't be exactly lawn seating, but we have the Rooftop Park in the stadium. And so that's going to have areas with grass that people are going to be able to spread out and watch the game in kind of a terraced way. So it's going to be very similar to that. It's going to be great for families. And it's going to be open on non-game days. So you'll be able to go up there, have a picnic, look out at the field. I mean, I think it's going to be really majestic. The question is, who is my favorite player all time? Well, I grew up, I was a big Cleveland Indians fan growing up. And so my favorite player growing up was Andre Thornton, who was like the big home run hitter in the early 80s. Like maybe not a lot of people know who he was. So, but nonetheless, that was my favorite player growing up. I also like Corey Snyder because he was like a big home run hitter. And so, yeah, it's kind of those early 80s. Ray Fosse was a Cleveland Indian. He reminds me every time I see him. And so, but that was a little bit before my time. The question is, how do you get season tickets? Now, like I said earlier, there are not season tickets this year. This year, because we have the limited pods, it's all about individual tickets. And if you want to get kind of an early ability to buy those individual tickets, you can do your Flextix. And that also gives you a volume discount at a lower price. So I highly encourage that, especially as we continue to release additional tickets and potentially have additional pods. You'll have a first crack at that. And I think that is actually going to work out really well for fans. People are asking about the Bernie lean. I'm not an expert on the Bernie lean. I could probably call Coco and try to get some tutorials on that, but that is not an expertise, at least at the current moment. The question is why is the new stadium only $35,000? Well, one of the things we worked on with our architect, the R.K. Ingalls, is to have a stadium that was more intimate and have a stadium that was more like Fenway or Wrigley, that have that smaller bowl. And the actual bowl is really similar to Fenway Park. So you're really on top of the action. There's not a bad seat in the house. And it really creates the scale of the broadcast. The question is about Glenn and Ray. Yes, Glenn and Ray are going to be back, and they're going to be, obviously bringing us some great television coverage of the A's this year. And we're super looking forward to having them in the booth. So I appreciate everyone being here today. A lot of great questions. Like I said before, we are super fired up for opening day. So much effort has gone into ensuring that we can have a safe opening with fans. This is going to be the first event in the Bay Area since the pandemic with actual fans and people since the Warriors shut down over a year ago. So it's a big deal. We're excited to host our fans in a safe way. We're excited to bring the excitement of baseball back to the Bay Area and to ensure that we can compete for another World Series. So I want to thank everyone for the time today. It's been great to do the Instagram Live. It's great to interact with the fans. And as always, folks can reach out to me on Twitter, president@athletics.com with any questions. Let's go, Oakland.